Okay, people, I want to do another video on right to travel. It's going to contain some of the same information, but some of it's going to be different. I've been studying law as a layperson for probably 10 years. I've been studying right to travel as a layperson for probably about 5, maybe 6. And there are some things that I want to kind of just bring to the forefront of everybody's mind that either knows it. Actually, this isn't for people that know about this. This is more for people who are curious and find a video on right to travel and are trying to take in as much information as they possibly can to gain their own understanding or comprehension of what's going on with this. So, let me show you something here. What I'm about to show you is a letter from a state senator from the state of Arizona. This letter was written to the director of the Department of Public Safety, which is DPS in Arizona, which is essentially Highway Patrol. I'm also going to show you a letter written from a Pennsylvania congressman. So, one letter is from a state senator, one letter is from a Pennsylvania congressman. They're written in 2 different periods of time, and I want you to pay particular attention to, A, the fact that these are, at the time of these writings, sitting senators or sitting congressmen. And I want you to pay very special attention to the wording and the phrasing that they use in their documents. So, let me see if I can find this. This one's not a very good copy. That's not the one I'm looking for. Okay. Now, Wayne Stump, state senator. This is to Ralph Milstead, the director of the Department of Public Safety. This is dated back in 1985. So we're talking 22 years ago. This is not new stuff. I want you to look at, I'm going to read it to you. I know you're capable of reading, but I'm going to read it to you now. This has been notarized, that this is actually from Wayne Stump, that this was actually of his hand. But let me read this to you. It has come to my attention, numerous individuals in our state have rescinded all of their contracts. He is off the get-go, alluding to contracts. Let's go on let's just go on. In each of its political subdivisions, establishing themselves as, interesting, a state senator would use this phrasing, freemen, under the organic national constitution of the Republic of the United States of America. Consequently, they may be driving without auto registration, driver's license, or any other evidence of contract. All of this is contract. It's contract. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, he goes on to say, because law enforcement personnel may be unaware, check this out, look at the wording and the phrasing, may be unaware of the contractual nature of auto registration and driver's licenses. Now let me it is conceivable that the situation may lead to confrontation. Under contract law, human beings have no obligation for any reason at all other than threat, duress and coercion, and, the man with the barrel of a gun, to contract with government for any reason at all whatsoever. They also don't tell you that when you do contract with government, much or most of the time, you are surrendering a right in lieu of a privilege that they will give you via the contractual obligation. Okay, so look at what he's saying here. Pause the video and read this for yourself. Now, this is a certification, and yes, it's upside down. I don't have the tools to fix it at the moment, but this is the same letter. The quality of the letter is not that good, but look at this, if you can. It's a pain in the ass to see because it's upside down, but this has got 2 different notary stamps on it. And this is, what is it? I, Wayne Howard Stump, do solemnly state that the letter on the reverse side of this document is a true and correct copy of a letter that I wrote and sent, what does it say? To each police, I gotta turn my own computer upside down. To each police chief and county sheriff in the state of Arizona. He sent that letter to every single freaking head of every police organization in the state of Arizona. And to verify this, he's had this notarized. Now, this was notarized, 12/10 of 01. So, 85, 95, 2001, like 17, 16 years later. Someone went to him and asked him to validate. And now he's a chiropractor. But he was a sitting senator when he wrote this letter. So, that's just food for thought number 1. Now, let's look at this letter from this Pennsylvania congressman. from the House of Representatives for the state of Pennsylvania. This letter is written to Judge Phyllis R. Stryatel, Chester County Court of Common Pleas. I want you to pay particular attention to the wording and to the phrasing. Now, transportation code is apparently Title 75 in Pennsylvania. Who is this senator? Senator, what the heck is his name? Samuel E. Roher? I can't even pronounce his name. R-O-H-R-E-R? Yeah, I can't even pronounce his name. Anyway, and this was in 2006. Okay, you've got to read and pay attention to the wording and the phrasing. Well, I'm not a licensed attorney. I have asked a member of my staff to look into this because he's got a friend who has apparently gotten a bunch of shit and went to this senator or this congressman and said, hey, can you help me out with this? The crux of the issue is whether Title 75 can properly be applied to an individual. With an individual's right to liberty, is the inherent right to travel. If one's movement can be restrained, such restraint is intrinsically a restraint of his liberty. Miss Riles' use of an automobile is simply an extension, Mr. Riles is an extension of his personal liberty to move about as he wishes. My research and that of my staff confirms that Title 75 can only properly be applied to commercial vehicles and commercial use of the roads. An individual who wishes to utilize an automobile or other means of conveyance in order to exercise his right to travel cannot lawfully be required to obtain a license to drive or to register his automobile in order to operate freely on our roads. I have reached the above conclusions without understanding the vast implications. I have not reached the above conclusions without understanding the vast implications it would follow. From these conclusions, I am well aware of the rulings of this nature. I am well aware that a ruling of this nature would undo years of enforcement of our existing laws. And because it's all about the money, it's a billion-dollar industry for governments all over, or for the government. It's a billion-dollar industry. So he's kind of acknowledging that they kind of can't rule against it, or the jig would fucking be up, and everybody would know. But people out there are so conditioned, so brainwashed, and indoctrinated. And I do not say it as a criticism, because those three words that I used, that shit has been done to us throughout the course of our life. But some people's brains are a little thicker than others, and some people's craniums are a little denser than others, and logic and reason sometimes has a little bit more of a difficult time penetrating their cranial structure and sinking into their friggin' mind. Specifically cops, and all the knuckleheads and morons that have been leaving these stupid sovereign citizen comments. Oh, you sovereigns, blah, blah. It's nothing to do with sovereignty. It has to do with rights, you fucking idiots.